Somewhere in Time is one of my all-time favorite movies. I remember first seeing this film with a group of friends at a local dollar theater in Bountiful, Utah. I think I was only 15 or 16 years old at the time. Not sure why we picked this movie. It doesn't really feel like the kind of flick that you'd go see with your buddies. But maybe, just maybe, it was because of Jane Seymour. Man, she was a beauty. After the movie was over, my friend Travis said something about 2 hours of his life that he'd never get back. And guarding my masculinity, I said nothing. But I knew that I would return to this movie many times over in the future. So why is this movie so special? Well, here are the 5 reasons why I love Somewhere in Time and believe that it is a true romantic classic. The first reason has to be the absolutely amazing source material written by Richard Matheson. I stumbled across the book Bid Time Return in the late 70s. I knew that Matheson had been involved in the Night Stalker TV series, and I think I vaguely remembered that the movie The Omega Man was based on his book I Am Legend. And I didn't know it at the time, but a little TV movie called Trilogy of Terror that had scared the bejesus out of me when I was a kid was also based on 3 short stories by Matheson. Anyway, Bid Time Returns is very similar to the movie with one pretty big difference. While the movie treats Richard Collier's journey to the past as fact, there is a distinct possibility in the novel that the whole thing is just happening in his mind. For folks from my home state of Utah, Matheson has publicly stated that the character of Elise McKenna was based on a famous actress born in Salt Lake City named Maud Adams. If you look her up, you'll find plenty of similarities. The second reason is the movie's wonderful location photography. While the book's setting is the Hotel del Coronado near San Diego, the setting in the movie is the Grand Hotel located on Mackinac Island in Michigan. Both of the hotels are truly grand, but I do believe that visually the choice of the Grand Hotel helped to make the movie, well, just that much more appealing. Somewhere in Time is one of those movies where every scene is just gorgeous, and I'm not talking about the actors here. As a side note, each year Mackinac Island hosts a Somewhere in Time weekend for fans of the movie, and over the years, both Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour have attended the event. I believe the picture above is from 2015. I know, hard to believe that Jane Seymour is 35 years older now. She looks amazing. So another reason for this film's enduring success had to be the casting of the lead actors. We'll start with Christopher Reeve. Yep, good old Clark Kent himself. I remember at the time that Reeve was purposefully selecting movies that would help him to avoid the kind of typecasting that had plagued other actors who had portrayed superheroes in the past. This movie was a smart choice. It allowed him to demonstrate a side of his acting skill that could only be hinted at in the Superman flicks. And Jane Seymour, holy cow, I don't think that there is a role where she is more beautiful. Part of that has to be the wonderful period piece costumes that she and others wore during the making of this movie. These actors, along with the just gorgeous setting of this film, allowed it to have a kind of dreamlike quality, which I think allowed the viewer to suspend disbelief and travel back in time with Richard to find his lost love. Another reason is the excellent supporting cast, especially Christopher Plummer. I've loved this guy ever since he was Captain Von Trapp in The Sound of Music. He's such a versatile actor, whether he's playing the militant captain in that musical, a stingy billionaire like J. Paul Getty, or even Sherlock Holmes. I've always been a fan of his work, and what he does in this movie is so subtle, so nuanced. Yes, he's Elise's manager. He's a bit menacing and even a little creepy, but you also get the feeling that he really cares about this woman. Maybe in a misguided way, and maybe a little too much, but he really cares. The last reason why this movie is just an absolute classic is the film's musical score by composer John Barry. Much like the movie's setting, this is one of those films where the music is really another supporting character. I really think that this is Barry's best work. It's the music that I return to time and time again when I want to hear something by him. It's beautiful. I've already said it. It's haunting. I really can't imagine Somewhere in Time without this specific score. It's truly phenomenal, and the ironic thing is that initially Universal Pictures didn't expect the soundtrack to sell much, so they gave it a very limited run. However, after the movies gained traction on cable television, the soundtrack received a proper release and a more solid marketing push by the distributor. In an earlier version of this video, YouTuber Wannabe to Wasabi said, "I saw John Barry being interviewed later in his life. He mentioned that he received more letters and reaction from Somewhere in Time than he ever expected. He actually stated that he didn't understand why. Interesting that he hadn't figured it out at the time, and I'm not sure that he ever did." As long as I'm looking at the comments section from that old video, here's a few more. C.D. Riley said, "It just dawned on me. If they made Somewhere in Time in 2020, Richard would be traveling to 1952 to meet Elise. I can't believe 68 years from 2020 is 1952. Neither can I, CD. Neither can I. My good friend Jasper1999 puts himself in the role of spoiler here when he recalls that moment in the movie where he screams at the screen, "Don't look at that penny." And the last comment that I'll share today comes from the Bronze Age of DC Comics, who said, "I like the twist on time travel with this film. Saw it as a tween on TV with my mom. Of course I saw it for Chris. I was a big Superman fan. What a great premise, and what a great ending. I remember what my mom said at the end when the two characters seemed to meet in the afterlife. She said we are all young in heaven. For me, that is the final line of the film." Well said, my DC Comics fan friend. Well said. Seriously, folks, if you are a hopeless romantic the way that I am, this is one of those movies that you need to own. So if you've seen this movie and you would like to weigh in, let me know what you think in the comments section. And while you're at it, I'd love a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I would be honored if you would consider subscribing to my channel. I talk about music, movies, and television, mostly from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.